Good evening and welcome back to All You Can Eat Warriors, and I mean All You Can Eat Warriors, and it's the finale
Ooh,
of episode 31. Can you believe that, Ash? We've been going for 31 weeks, man, and
bro.
we're finally here at the closure of this part of the season, at least. Can you believe that 31 episodes? That's just crazy. It is absolutely
What a
crazy.
year, mate. We have built like this partnership, as I said, from like the first day, you're my halfback, I'm your number 6 or your fullback, whatever you want to call me. You're the coach. I'll be your halfback of the field, mate. But it's been great, bro. It's been an amazing ride. And hopefully everyone enjoys the show tonight and enjoy what we bring to Wise Up TV for the future too.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Great to have you guys here. Vatos Locos, Hombre, Jose. I'm not sure if you had a little listen last night, Ash, but I was talking about, we'll start off with Jose, actually. I was watching Running It Straight with Blairy and, is it Willie Poaching?
Yeah.
And they have fan questions in it, and then they had a little fan question, and then their little host goes, they got a question here from Jose XCI. I was like, is that the same Jose that's in our chat? And if you're here on Friday, Jose was asking me on the watch along what my 4 favorite movies are, and then we went on a tangent about movies and best albums and that.
Yep.
And then guess what Jose's question was to Blairy and Poaching? What's your 4 favorite movies? I was like cracking up in my head, man. I was like, oh, Jose, you've broken into every level of rugby league content. So he's got. I wonder if it might be bloke in the bar next. He might be having the best 4 movies. But while we're there, actually, we haven't heard your best 4 movies in your. Can you go off the top of your head?
Funny this, bro. We had old Jose jump on a Monday night member stream a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, bro, I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head right away. But what I came out with, like one of my favorite movies all time is We Are Marshall. It's like a gridiron movie about like a 70s a gridiron university side that died in a plane crash, and I had to rebuild the side, and it has like Matthew McConaughey in that, bro. And like I don't know what it is about Matthew McConaughey. I don't know whether it's a southern accent or something like that going with him, whatever. But fuck, he makes that movie so good, bro. It's such a good movie. I really like anyone to watch it. But I think I've rounded it out. I think it was We Are Marshall. I think I'm trying to think. I don't know if I had Deadpool in there. If I did, I'll redo. I think Deadpool's got to be up there for me. I love Deadpool. Jurassic Park, any Jurassic Park movie. I'm a big fan of the series. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of dinosaurs and that. And I can't remember the other ones I know, but all the boys, everyone in the chat was just throwing up names of movies that I've got to watch. I've got like a list that I have to go through now.
So he got you and he got me. He got.
He did.
He must be working for.
What's Blairy's?
Blairy was, what was it? He had horror, I was thinking. He had horror.
It's a horror man.
He watches Saw. He talked about Saw a little bit, and he related it to what was it? Sports, like testing a mental fortitude and stuff. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, it was cool. I was just cracking up. I was like, I know that name, and then when I heard, I was like, okay, that name's familiar. But when he said the four movies, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the Jose from.
We know who this is.
We know who this is, and we appreciate and love him. He's infiltrated every form of rugby league content. Great on you, Jose. Great to have you, man, in the chat as well.
You're a beast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, let's just recap some of the stuff that. Saw. There we go. Saw, Pursuit of Happiness, and Gladiator. Yeah, he was into Gladiator.
All good
well.
movies.
That's right. Yeah,
all good movies.
Great movies. Absolutely great movies. We'll get into this, man, guys. So the outline for tonight is we'll ask Ash some of the questions I talked about on the members show last night, and then we're going to do just a little depth chart, and just go through each position and try and figure out, who. I'd like to try and maybe get 4 or 5 guys if it's possible. We may not get that much, but we'll at least see now with a few additions who those guys will be. So, yeah, and then we'll wrap it up with just sort of like a wrap-up session, a kind of, fireside or blue smoke, as my wife's family calls it, where you all get together and huddle, you sit in the circle and you reflect.
I'm happy. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
So
bro,
we'll have
reflect
a
on the
little,
year that we've had. We've had a
yeah,
massive year on Wires
we
Up
will, we
TV, bro,
will.
and
We'll
it's
have,
going to be good fun.
we'll have a little blue smoke actually with everyone in the chat as well. So share your deeper meaningfuls if you feel so that you want to. Okay, man. Just quickly, we'll start off. Sam
Mhm.
Healy, signed till
Beautiful.
2027. Haven't had a
Yep.
chance to hear your thoughts on it. But what is your thoughts on it, and how does he kind of fit in? Is it a long term kind of guy, or is he an instantaneous fix? He's in this top 17. Where do you see this with Sam Healy?
Yeah, I'll probably say he'll probably be a cup hooker fairly early on. I'd say his development will come through there. He's a solid hooker, come through the development grades of the Sharkies and that. Just looking at some of his New South Wales Cup stats, 37 appearance, 13 tries. Some of the highlights that I have seen, he does prefer to run the football. He's not. He reminds me. I wouldn't say Wade Egan type or anything like that. I just think he runs the football more like a Reece Robson, right? Like when things are ready to go, bang, he's just off and going. Good tackle, good defense. So tackle efficiency is up there in the 94 percentile. 4 try assists, 4 line break assists. So it's really, really solid areas. I've only seen limited moments out of him, and that's usually just going off of, YouTube or whatever I've seen out of the Newtown Jets this year. And everything I've seen from him has been fairly strong. And from what I know, the Sharkies fans are actually pretty devo. They're losing him too. So, definitely a good option. What this sort of means for our hooker rotation, I did think that our hooker depth was the first thing last year that we were probably lacking, like an area we were lacking there. Like if Wade Egan went down, we had Freddie Lussick, and then we'd have basically Numio, Paulie Roach ended up being the guy. But at that moment, he was more of that halfback sort of switching sort of depth, utility depth sort of player. But now, I don't know what this means for players like obviously Paul Roach, or what this means for, Freddie Lussick. But it builds competitiveness between all those guys to fight out for spots. And I do believe this guy will put his best foot forward, because I reckon that if we're given an opportunity, he'd probably take it really well, and he'd probably be more suited to being maybe more so of a starting hooker. From everything I've seen, he looks like a guy that can really withstand some big punishment in the middle and that. And get up and continue to keep going. So I'm excited to see what he can develop as under the Warriors program. As I said, I think he'll be New South Wales Cup more so next year. Who knows? Depending on our depth getting tested, he might find himself in a 14 jersey or something later on in the year. But I definitely will keep an eye on him in Cup and see how he goes with our group.
Do you think he's actually, in your opinion, say his development goes well, would he then be a good replacement style-wise for Wade Egan?
Yeah, I would say so. This is the thing with Freddie Lussick. I don't know what this means for Freddie. I really don't, because he's been around our system for a while now. I do believe that Freddie has won the hearts over for a little bit of Warriors fans this year. They're starting to see his defensive resilience and stuff in the middle. But just looking at some of the stature of Sam Healy, he's a bigger hooker. It's been pointed out here in the chat too. He's not small, 6'1", 90 kgs. I was always told when I was a younger kid, it's the reason why I got moved out of playing hooker. Usually you don't want to be too tall playing hooker, because you have to get down to play the ball and that sort of stuff. But he seems to do a really good job there, and he's a bigger body, so he can play in that lock option. So I like that as a utility play. But I do think that he's more so suited probably as a starting option, and plays a lot better in the longer minutes sort of role.
Okay, so sounds like maybe short term Freddie Lussick is still the number one option. The second number 2 option. Paulie Roach, do you feel he's kind of back in the pecking order behind Healy?
Yeah, that's the most confusing part, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. As I said, if this signing happened the start of last year, completely would understand it, right? It would just be added depth for us. It would be competitiveness for him and Freddie Lussick going at each other. But now we had obviously the emergence of Paulie Roach becoming more of a hooker in first grade. Obviously, had that debut, with the Panthers game where, he was playing for a decent minutes for a hooker, looked really good, and everyone started looking at him and go, listen, this is the guy that, could be that, long-term option for us, with Freddie Lussick being a rotation. But now Samuel Healy has come through, and I do believe that Samuel's probably out of the rest of them, probably got the more of a hooker. It's like a really long-term hooker type of player. From what I've seen out of him, I've been fairly impressed. So, yeah. I don't know whether it's just pushes Paulie to like maybe more so a half option again, which I don't really like. And that's something that we'll have to watch out for. But yeah, honestly, bro, it's all up in the air at the moment. I think it's just a competitive, mode for our club and spots. And who knows, maybe Freddie Lussick could be feeling homesick. I don't think a lot of people have given food for that thought at all. But maybe we're covering some options there as well. If there's any movement in our window there for, a player maybe wanting to go home or maybe leaving our club. So I'm not too sure behind the scenes. It is a little bit now we're packing up, but due to Wade Egan's injury history, stuff like that, it's probably not a bad thing to have even more added depth in that position.
Because an interesting thing for me is that, he couldn't get into, Brayley's just, I think, obviously couldn't get into that ahead of Brayley and how he's tracking. But, to sign 3 years, it kind of does sound a little bit like,
long-term play.
Long-term plan to play him and invest in him. Just quickly, on the last thing I'll ask is would he fit as a bench hooker to match Egan? Because, I've liked the combination of Lussick with Egan. Sometimes Lussick brings that defensive resilience, and Egan balances out with we know what he can do. Would he be a good match in terms of an interchange for Egan?
Yeah, he's definitely he's been suited that in the past. Him and Jaden Beryl, I'm pretty sure, is playing for Newtown as well. He's also another really good hooker for the Cronulla Sharks in that system that unluckily aren't able to get shots because Brayley is an 80-minute hooker. The way their bench sort of makeup is they don't carry two hookers on their bench. And he's been really good, intertwining with him. But when he's gotten long-minute shots too, he's had some of his better games. So majority of his try-scoring games have actually come from him being a starting hooker, playing for long minutes, the 60-minute roles and stuff. But he's about 50-50 on the interchange as well. So he definitely can come off the bench and add a little bit of punch in behind the arc. Even his first game against us in New South Wales Cup this year, he scored 2 tries against us in the first game of the season. So I'll have to double watch that one back. So I don't have too much memory on that game, first of all. But, definitely a guy that can come off the bench and add some punch. And as the guy said in the chat, he's definitely a bigger body, probably more suited, that can play a majority of different roles. We have Freddie at the moment that's just playing when he's getting on there. We've had to play him in front row role before due to injuries and that, and being a smaller body, probably not suited to that. Where, Sam Healy, obviously a bigger body, he could probably be more suited to a 13 role if there was an option of any injuries coming through on that. So definitely could take up an interchange role, but the 3-year signing, I do agree, makes it look like that he is the guy that's supposed to be the guy we're pushing through with Wade Egan, right? Like, whatever happens there. But yeah, that's the way I kind of look at it.
Do you think it's good, I suppose, recruitment strategy? I mean, we're seeing a lot more of this at the Warriors where, surprisingly, the Warriors with its expanded development program, a lot of kids taking the opportunity to come over here. Do you think it's good business what Cappy's doing in terms of recruitment to bring a guy? It's really an unknown and a low-key one, but if you break it down from what reports, he was one of the best hookers at New South Wales Cup. The Sharks fans are devastated. So it would indicate that he would be a good recruit in a vein like like how Jackson Ford kind of came over undervalued or not really known, and then really did a great job for us in at least that first year. Do you think it's that kind of a good quality signing for us?
Very much so, bro. And a lot of shrewd, like really good shrewd signings from Cappy happening underneath with all our development. Obviously, the big name one, as everyone knows, is Jet Cleary. And that was a big pull for us, as a club, and for like Ivan Cleary to trust in us to take care of his son's development when obviously he's with the Panthers currently right now. Like, that's a big move for his dad to be like, listen, like, you can do that, and not like sway the way of being like, stay at the Panthers, I'll get you going on. He's actually given him the green light to go, no, we trust the Warriors. You'll be able to, play your best football there and all that. But all the other signs we have coming through, obviously, Kahu Kappa's a big one that a lot of people will be watching out for too. So Cappy's had a lot of really good, shrewd signings for our juniors coming through. And someone like him, as you did say, like, he's a very promising hooker in New South Wales Cup that, could develop into something special. And everything I've seen out of Webby this year and just our organisation, every player that we've debuted into first grade that has had their development under him at the moment, under Webby's tenure, has actually hit the ground running. From memory, under Webby, think of any rookie that's come in there and looked really underdone and just not ready to go. So development wise, there's obviously a lot of big ticks for a lot of players that are like, all right, I can go to the Warriors, develop my game, and hit a new level. Think of Webby's first year at the club. You'd probably say that every name on that team sheet actually hit their best level within that first year, right? So there is the knowledge around the league now that we can develop players and we can get them playing to the highest click. So I think that makes us a really good prospect for a lot of juniors to come over and play their best football and hopefully get a crack in first grade.
Well, I even mentioned the fact that, say these guys do leave and, probably a perfect example might be Jet Cleary stays for 3 years and then he goes back to Penrith. I think there's still a benefit for our guys, our local guys, to play with a Jet Cleary or develop alongside someone like that. So I don't think, I know there's kind of this negative or, sometimes a sad vibe around, they're going to leave. We're going to develop them great, and then they're going to leave. But I think there's some benefit to developing alongside our local talent. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%, bro. Like as we've been touching on multiple times, is I think we're in a really cool era of the New Zealand Warriors to where like you're finally laying foundations in schooling and that in New Zealand to play technical rugby league, but still having these options for players like this to go over and play alongside these kids that are learning how to play rugby league at the highest click and kind of like, bounce ideas off each other. What are you seeing out of the game? Aussie rugby league players probably see just a touch of difference. And I'm not trying to mean that in a disrespectful way, because in the union side of things, you guys cream all over us. Like, technically you guys are so far superior than us in union, but rugby league, because it's our major sport comparatively to union, I think the technical side is something that we grew up in schools learning very early on, and it hasn't just become a smash and grab. Everything's been very technical, so it's good to bounce it around, and I think that's the best thing Webby's brought over to the Warriors and the best thing for New Zealand rugby league, stuff like this. And also, just on the added side of everything else too, right, to think about is all these players that are coming over. Like, if we're thinking of a lot of really good hookers at the moment on the market, like there's not a lot of good options on the market, right, for all these key areas, right? So like halfbacks in the market at the moment, there is a scarce of really good halfbacks, and there's a scarce of really good hookers in the league at the moment. And both of these areas is where the Warriors are bringing over these juniors to not more so find diamonds in the rough, but develop them into a way that they can become like a player that we can have within our squad for years and years on, where instead of having, buying these, like, maybe I wouldn't say broken players, but like, players that have been hurt by the systems they've come from, Ash Taylors of the world, and, be hurt by that as well when they leave the club. And we just put a lot of money into it, where these juniors aren't going to be coming over for big money, right? Like, they're on development deals, so they're not going to be getting paid like the 500Ks of the world. We got an opportunity there to see what these guys have, and if we hit the diamond in the rough, it's more likely to pay off than it is to buy someone for 700K that's going to leave us within half a year. So that's really the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's a long-term thing, and it's actually a strategy. I would be, we have to really buy into this development thing, because rugby league is going to expand, so the pool of players is going to be even less once you get team 18, 19, 20. Those teams will naturally take your development, like the teams like the Roosters that maybe don't have the strongest development programs. They usually pick out your guys, so we got to try and be as developmentally strong moving forward, and even attracting some of those younger Aussie guys that might enjoy it. They learn while they're here. So yeah, I'm totally with it. To be honest.
Well, the big key one that we have, in Harold Matts, like mid-year, we made not mid-year, I think it was pretty early on in that season, but we had the jump from Jack Thompson over from the Newcastle Knights system into the Warriors system. And it sparked our team was playing well before that point as well. But, he was another little added piece that got us over the top, and we ended up winning the premiership in Harold Matts that year. And he was a big focal point to that as well, also with Patterson and a whole lot of other pieces that we had down, Lennox and that. But it's another good thing to think about too, like all these kids that we are bringing over, we've kind of like picked the right ones at the moment. Like, Jack Thompson looked great when he was playing in that 7 jersey. So we're doing the right things at the moment. That's a positive thing for a Warriors fan. And hopefully Sam does fill out that sort of look as well. As I said, it does add the depth room now in that hooker position. So there is going to be a fight for positions. And I know there's probably going to be guys that want Freddie Lussick. There's going to be guys that want Paulie Roach. There's going to be guys that want Samuel Healy. But it's really where, now we're in a good position as a team to go, this guy's leading all these areas. I'm going to give him a shot and see where he can go to.
Yeah, no, it's exciting news. Hey Nick, how you doing, my man? Yeah, 3 out of 10 is best season at best. What would you rate the season out of 10? I think we done this about 2 weeks ago, and even based on where we ranked the guys, we had them in the kind of average to poor range. So you're not far off there. We are, it'd probably be a 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, based on what I remember. But yeah, if you did get a chance, that we've done 2 streams that really covered that. We did the player ratings, and we did the actual season review of each game, which was pretty fun. So, we'll leave that there for now. But okay, man. Anything else, just quickly, on the top of your mind that you want to talk about?
Bro, I want to talk about, I know we're jumping off a little bit of the Warriors chat here. First of all, actually, I did want to bring up, did you see the RLPA team of the year that came out this year? Yeah. I know this might caught you over guard, but both our front rowers, obviously Mitch Barnett and AFB getting, the honors there for, front rowers of their, like the players front rowers. Really good news. Obviously players, coming up against playing the Warriors, they've gone home and like noted down that, it sucks playing against AFB and it sucks playing against Mitch Barnett. But that's good news, obviously. In a very poor season, there has been still awards and players that have hit a highest level for us. Your thoughts on that, bro?
Any type of award. I always like the players awards. I think they give them more of a vibe of, like, amongst their peers, like who's the big dogs, and who are they scared of? Because us as fans, we only see the production on the field, the meters, but there's a lot of guys that make meters, but no one fears. But to hear like AFB and Barnett, like when they write those names down, they've thought about it. And, man, it was a tough day against the Warriors. They're like, we got the win, but man, blimmin' AFB and Barnett, they were blimmin' horrible,
There's still a great opportunity for those two to win the Daily M one as well. But I think as for the playing group, for players, it's probably more recognizable as an RLPA player award than it is probably Daily M at the moment. Like, just looking back at last year with Shawnee and everything that happened with Sean Johnson not getting a Daily M, like, I sort of look at those 2 awards now and go, well, I probably prefer more of the RLPA because it's voted by the players than it is more so voted by like journalists and stuff like that, being the Daily M. So, but strong opportunity there too, because a lot of our big games that have had, Mitch Barnett would have taken a couple of points there too. So I'm excited to see, where those guys end up this year in the Daily M Awards as well.
Man, I forgot. Daily M must be around the corner. Is it on next Monday or something? It's usually on the Monday.
It's not far off, eh? Yeah. It's usually the Monday of the grand final, right? Isn't it?
Who's your Smokey to win?
Smokey, or do you want my?
Your genuine, Who's your genuine and a Smokey if you got one?
I want Jerome Hughes. Like, I want him to win, and it's more so the fact of like he did exactly what Shawnee did last year, so he deserves it, right?
Yeah.
But Smokey, and the one I'm worried about is James Tedesco, and I think James Tedesco's had an incredible year, but like you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel right? But I can see it happening, and that's what worries me.
It'd be a KP 2.0 if it did happen.
Well, the other one I was worried about was Tommy Turbo, and before the injury, I thought Tommy was in good straps to, like, maybe run home exactly like KP did, last year, and he was kind of going under the water, like, under a lot of eyes there. But I think Jerome Hughes has to get it, bro. Like, and if he doesn't, then like I can understand a massive uproar in New Zealand, and he should be rioting and pitchforks and all that sort of stuff. So if he doesn't, man, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, the old boys club. If you see Teddy win it, it's probably, that would be crazy if we had Sean and then Hughes, 2 Kiwis players win your Dally M's. That's like, that would have been unheard of if you got it back to back.
It'd be hectic, bro. It'd be hectic.
Yeah, and media. That's a good point, Josh. Media would never publicize RLPA, because it kind of conflicts with a lot of their stuff. Actually, guys, I don't know if you know Josh, but I've known Josh through Twitter. Josh did his little season review as well for McKercher. If you wanted to look at his one on Twitter, Josh, he's done
Ooh.
like a written up version of his player ratings and stuff. Good little read
Yep.
too. We were on a similar page. Just, a few things that we disagree with or were different to what we had decided, but
Yep.
all in all, I think we're pretty much on that. But yeah, Josh, if you need some more followers on Twitter, direct everyone your way, mate.
Yeah, beast, mate. You're a beast. And also the other thing I wanted to bring up. So the main website I like to check out for the news is, what would you call it? A third party website, whatever you like, just it's called Zero Tackle. It's a really good rugby league website, brings up NRL news and stuff and rumors and that. And they've put out their predicted Kiwis team list. And this kind of starts off with the Pacific Championship around the corner. I know that we have some schedule, what we're going to try and do for the Pacific Championships and talking about that, but it's got the predicted Kiwis team list. I want to run through the names here and see if there's any names that you would add to this list and fix up. There's a couple I don't agree with at all. I don't know where they've got a couple of these from. So I'm excited to see your thoughts as well. And obviously, Sean Johnson coming out and saying that if, there was any injuries, I'll play for the Kiwis. So that would be interesting. But their team they got here at fullback, Chance Nickel Clockstag.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wingers, we got Ronaldo Mulatalo and Will Warbrick.
Yep. Okay.
Their centers, and this one I don't really agree with. I agree with Matt Tomoko. He's in there.
Yep.
The other winger, the other center, Jermaine Asako. I don't know where they got Jermaine Asako from. Makes no sense.
Trying to put names
Makes
in
no
it doesn't fit.
Yeah, nah. I think Jermaine will probably have to start in the wing. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'll just stop you there. So yeah, CNK. The tricky thing with tournament football is you have to be very careful. I find it's best to pick the guys that are in form. So even for a CNK, yeah, I'd love him, but if his form is a little bit out, similar to what Tedesco was, they went with Tedesco last year, and it kind of Edwards. They put Edwards on the wing, and actually, ended up biting them in the ass pretty much. So that's where I think, if I'm with CNK, I think he'll do a great job. And he'll lift, when you get in the Kiwis jersey, some guys, they just go to another level, and I think he's one of those guys. But you do have to play kind of a little bit of the inform type game. So I would only question it, the replacements would be like a Kenny and I don't, maybe Kenny's not at that level yet. We'll see. But I'll still stick with Chance, but just something you got to be careful with sometimes. Because it's only literally 2-3 games. It's not much. You just have to get through you got to get to the final, and you got to get be at your peak. His goal kicking is too important, and like I 100%. Said, he's not out of form. So Warbrick will just have to hold. He'll just have to hold and wait.
Incredible end to the season with Warbrick, but I'll push Jermaine to the wing for sure.
Yeah,
Ronaldo's on the other wing. I would have Ronaldo in there. I think Ronaldo's had a good season.
Yeah, and Ronaldo's in form. He's playing really well. So yeah, I keep him there. Yeah,
Kale Iro is the one I want to play in as centre, but he's also a Cook Island boy, and he played Cook Island's last Pacific Championship. But when the Kiwis come and knock in, most likely those boys will take that up. Also, obviously, is it Kevin or Tony's son? That's Kevin Iro's son, right?
It's Kevin's son, yeah.
Kevin's son, yeah. So, he's got ties. So I would probably have him as my centre pairing with Matt Tomoko. I reckon that would be a pretty gun little centre pairing there.
Because, Kevin, can Matt play right side? Because I think he'll go straight to France next year.
That's another thought too.
So I'm thinking if Tomoko can play right side, because Iro's a bit more left-sided too. I think
that's right.
Play right side, but yeah, I think those two could be a good partnership moving forward. But yeah, I love Iro, but yeah, he's in Thames is right. He's raised in Rarotonga, so he is definitely part of their plans to try and qualify for the World Cup. So I think they technically still have to qualify the Cook Islands. So I'm not sure what the rules are that, he might jump in there. So other options? Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I don't know how everyone would have thought with this too, but would you think I know Chancey obviously did well with the Kiwis last year and that, but it'd be cool to see Chance and Ito play for the Cook Islands, and it'll free up the spots, obviously, for Keanu Kini and that and for the Kiwis. But then again, if you want the strongest lineup for your Kiwis, I'd say Chance Nickel Clockstag's going to have to be around about there. But other sort of positions here too, bro. We got our halves pairing. So obviously Dylan Brown will be out due to surgery on his ACL. I mean, did his ACL later on in the season. But now they reckon they're going to go Cody Nikorima and Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, Cody's the natural, I suppose, fit because he's probably in form in his own weird. Like a lot of people don't like him. I can understand it, but he did have a good season in the Gold Coast. Defense will be an issue. Obviously, back row is targeting him, and we don't have much options here depth wise. I think we approached what's his name from the Dolphins. And you know he's sitting for Tonga and that type of thing. So, yeah, Nikorima seems like the only natural one. It's a tough one. 5'8's such a tough one. Dylan Brown and Jerome, see, they had a good run. They did the World Cup together and they kind of hit their peak last year together. So it's, you know, it is going to be a bit of a loss, but I'm not sure where we find. Like, I don't want to do what we did in the past where we had like Tohu play six or a lock or something like that.
Yeah.
You need a genuine kicking option. Nikorima might have to be the guy. Who would you have if you were picking?
I'd probably say that would probably be the strongest. I'd love to see Shawnee in that position, but like probably for your strongest lineup, because I don't know if Shawnee and Jerome would work as a combination. It may work.
No, Sean said that he was only replacing Jerome, so only a halfback. I think what he said was like, I'm only swapping out if Jerome doesn't play as like just a halfback option, which is okay. Right. He would want to be the game manager and controller, so
which would make sense. If I'm looking at running sixes and that, yeah, Cody Nikorima. I can't really think of too many other Kiwi sixes that are running around other than obviously Dylan Brown and that are going to be able to take over that position and with both hands and do a great job.
Is JMK available? Is he?
Apparently not. So, like, well, judging by this predicted team list, he isn't, and obviously dealt with injuries towards the end of the season, shoulder injuries and that. So, I'd probably say they're resting him for the off season. There's a couple of those, and that frustrates me a little bit with the internationals. Like, obviously they've had a tough season, and I'm not blaming the players, but I so wish that we could prioritize these sort of games too. Like, I miss talking about international football and players like that. I think it's amazing what they did for Samoa and Tonga back in the day. Like, Samoa for the World Cup. I wish there was more of it, bro. Like, but yeah, I think that's probably your best halves pairing there, with Cody Nikorima and Jerome Hughes. Moving over, obviously, front row pairing, we know what it's going to be. Moses Leota, Fisher Harris. If both those guys are fit and raring to go, they're going to be there for sure.
Yep.
That's a good one from Jose. Do you reckon Tamani Martin would make the cut?
He's had neck surgery, man. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he'd be resting home.
I doubt he's even available. Crossland might be a shout if Crossland was approached by Madge. He didn't quite commit, and he had that bloke in a bar interview, or was it with Ice? I can't remember, and he was like a bit iffy. Yeah, so again, it tells you that, like, look, Australia could have 7 teams of, they got 7 sets of halves, 8, 9. That still shows you that we're lacking depth in terms of certain positions. I'll go with Nikorima, man, if he's keen. I definitely would. Even Docker Clay. I know this is probably reaching the bottom of the barrel, but he could do a job. And you see some guys, they do step up. They step up in the moment. Just want to quickly shout Ross King. I know I haven't seen you in the chat before, man, but we appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, Ross. Apologies, but just wanted to quickly acknowledge you, man. Thank you very much.
All right, moving over, we'll go. Well, the hooker, their predicted hooker. Obviously, this is predicting that JMK won't be playing. Phoenix Crossland. Obviously, no Brandon Smith either with the ACL injury.
Yeah. If JMK,
they got Phoenix at 9.
That's what I'm saying. You might have to go Nikorima at 9 at 6 and bring Jade at Crossland because. Yeah, you need like Clinton. Well, again, it's only 2 or 3 games. You need to just get a group firing. But Crossland would be a good one for a long-term prospect because your future hookers are looking more like. I think Brandon's kind of coming back to the back end of his rep career. You'd actually probably look at JMK and Crossland if he committed as being your starting hookers, like moving into a World Cup, which is what 2 years away. So I'd love that if it was available. He just has to commit, and the best time is to commit right now and build into, you know. I'm trying to think of other hookers that are around.
You had Manu Brown last time, eh? That's why I was like, and he's over in England. Unless you can pinch someone over there that I'm trying to think of the top of the chest.
Well, Docker Clay plays a little bit of impact, but
bring back Rangi Chase, bro. Bring back Rangi Chase. Put him in that 6 jersey.
That turncoat, Rangi Chase. Bloody bomb. Didn't Isaac Luke? I remember Isaac Luke did the what did he do? He did the old cannonball on him, I think, in one of the Test series. Yeah. Isaac, because I think it's Isaac's cousin, and he went straight for the knee. Like he intentionally went for the cannonball. Oh, Danny Levi. Yes, sorry, Danny Levi.
Could definitely, Danny could play. I'd love to see Danny play for Samoa because I don't see any other options for their Samoa hooker.
Well, Aaron Clark is. Aaron was another option.
Aaron could be one.
Probably more of a bench option, but he was earmarked to play Kiwis, but he got injured, I think.
I like that. Do you reckon Tane would have an opportunity in around the squad as well?
Well, I even think just going back, if Berry was healthy, he'd get a look in because I think all of the Kiwis A's guys should have. That's the pathway. So we had Berry would have got a look in. I definitely feel if he was fit.
Yep.
Tane potentially could. I don't think that's too far a reach. And especially with Stacey, will have eyes on Tane and know what he's like, day in day out. Who is the other one? Who's the back rower for the Storm? Plays off the bench.
Joe Chan.
I mean, these are depth guys. Docker Clay played last year. That's what I'm saying. That like, if you use your actual Kiwi A team, that you can find some solutions there.
That's a good one from Joshua Hill. Jack Howard, Smokey for centre. He was great for centre.
Yeah, I think some people were saying that. I would go Howarth. I would actually go Howarth. But I've heard that he's kind of not committing. I think he wants to go Origin route. Yeah.
Can you do? Because he played A's, right? Yeah.
Yeah, KO Weeks. I'm not sure about KO. Is he actually a Kiwi? Yeah, must be.
Right. I think it's
The other option, I would try and get those boys. I know they're born in Aussie, but who's the boys that play for the Panthers? Jesse McLean.
McLean's the McLean boys.
Yeah. Because I'm sure they're Māori, but I was like, if I was to reach for the barrel, I would hit because he played all right. That boy, he can play. I know he's played a bit of cup for them when Tungo and that come back in, but I was impressed with his game. I was like, I'd give him a crack if it was Alec McDonald for Storm. I didn't realize. See a lot of these
Yeah, he's Kiwi. Yeah, he's definitely a good option. He's a really good one. We'll go through the rest of the side here too. So
get carried away.
You're right, bro. I love this chat. Scotty Sorensen, Britton Gorda is the starting edge back rowers. Joseph Tarpon at that 13 roll. That's their prediction. I'm not sure what's going on with Isaiah Popoliti, whether he is injured either. He did carry injuries with the Tigers, but I remember him playing later on in the season. So not too sure there. But he might come off the bench.
Again, those are the ones where you kind of pick guys in form. Like you'll always go to the JFHs and your mainstays.
I agree.
Left back? I know Papa Lee played left edge last thing. I would probably go with more of a left edge player that has regular play time. I'm trying to think of who that might be. So Nico does. Yeah, he's a rep.
For sure.
And Taipuni, that's a really solid front row and lock. But I'm trying to think of a left back row that's probably played a little bit more than what
Scotty. Because Scotty's only just got back of injury.
Scotty hasn't played barely any. He hasn't played barely any footy. So I'm trying to think of a Kiwi back row that probably fits the mold.
Could be Joe Chan. Could push Joe Chan up. There's other names on this list too, but they're mainly all fronties. So you got Zach Docker Clay as the interchange 14. Nelson off the bench, Griffin Neem, and Leo Thompson to end out that list there too. Yeah, just trying to think. Edge back
Jordan Lucky, if he's healthy, definitely be. Like Jordan's been on the list, but he's actually a guy I'd actually bring in based on his talent and potential. I'd put him in and give him a crack, even if he's had a bad year.
100%.
Yeah, Tim's saying Nafahu White's had a good season too. Like he played well against Penrith, so I would actually go White over Griffin Neem personally.
Oh, that's a tough one. I love Griff, bro.
No,
I
Griff's
love
great. Griff's
Griffy.
great. But
Yeah, we're
Nafahu's pretty
playing
good.
with a limited bench here too, right? Like, Navahu, he had a really good end to the season. I like Navahu at that 13 jersey too, but you can't push Joseph anywhere else with Leota and Fish. Like, that's a crazy good pairing there.
T-Mac, you're nuts, man. You're nuts. You're absolutely nuts.
I love to see it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, even Leotoa, man. He might be a smoking. Like I'm like, there's probably a thing, but like he was Kiwi A's. I mean, some of our boys, they do choose the heritage and Samoa, and I'm fine with that too. But I mean, I think that would be like, yeah, he'd be a smoke. Like that's why I say go for what you've set up. Your Kiwi A's is your guys, your next guys up. I would try and put as much as those guys in that I believe I can and bring them through.
Yeah, 100%. And like just thinking of that, though, like, that Samoa team list is going to be fairly strong if everyone's fit and healthy running into it as well.
Yeah.
So Ali might end up, well, either way, like, I don't know what would be harder, which backline would be harder to get into. Because looking at that, thinking of that, when Roger pledged his allegiance to Samoa this year, then you got your Brian Toto, you've got obviously your Stephen Crichtons of the world, Isaac Tungos of the world. There's a lot of really good options they could play with in that back line there. So that'd be interesting. I like that. I like that Leotoa shout.
Yeah,
Same with Barry.
I know Barry would have probably got a look in if he stayed healthy this year, because he's a natural right centre, and would have been a good like defensive type, and yeah, I just think that would probably. The residency rules. I miss the old residency ones, the old Nathan Fiends and the old Brent Webb.
Get Luke Metcalf in that 6 jersey, baby.
Yeah. No, I mean, Brent Webb was massive for us. Like, there's a few, like Nathan Fiend was huge in 2010. We appreciate those guys because let's be honest, like we haven't had the greatest of depth, but like looking 10, 15 years on now, it's pretty strong.
Yeah. I'll say top to bottom with this one. I agree with majority. Probably Jermaine Osako at centre is definitely not it for me. You have to be a wing. So 0 tackle, refix that up. Like have you ever seen Jermaine Osako play at centre? I have no clue.
That'll be the worst edge with Blimmin Mulatalo because as much as Ronaldo's playing well, he can have his moments too where just. See, I'd probably try and stick. So who was out there with him? Timoko. So if Timoko was his partner last year, I'd just keep that relationship. I'd probably try to go with a right-sided guy. I'm not sure what the answer would be, but you don't want to mess too much with your edges, if you can. Right
side would be Rocco Berry if he's ready to go.
Rocco Berry with Isako would have been a good pairing, I think. But just quickly, man, on your thoughts on the Kangaroos team, do you think they'll go with a majority New South Wales team, or do you think it will be more of a Queensland side still? Because in history, it's kind of been more Queensland dominant.
Yeah.
Do you think because of the series win, that they will, they'll go with a more New South Wales dominant side? Because I see Angus Crichton, Mitch Moses if they run into trouble.
We're going with our spine. If you run our spine. There's been rumors that Mitch might come back into camp. I think Mel was going to try and get him into camp. I heard that on the grapevine, but think of a spine like James Tedesco, obviously New South Wales, or Dylan Edwards, but I think Edwards will take it off with that knee that he's carrying. The spine 6, I'd probably go Tom Dearden. I'll go Tom Dearden and it'd probably be Mitchell Moses. I don't know if Cleary will be resting with his shoulder injury, carrying that shoulder coming back if he's going to rest. If Nathan's ready to go,
Rich Moses and Dearden are like, I know they're good players, but
I don't know.
I don't know if you fear them. Like, and I know this being cocky, but like,
I just don't know if DC, I don't think DC will go back again, bro. I really don't. I don't think we'll go DC again. So it'll be a new 7 for me.
Nathan Cleary is the only man I fear, bro. When he's in that, he's a similar. If he ends up playing,
yep.
I I think it's too strong. Like, because he's just, yeah. But
This
again,
what I mean. Like,
but yeah,
with the internationals not being priority, this what sucks about it all is like Nath would be so much more geared to get back to Origin with a shoulder injury than he would be geared to get into an Australian jersey and do wonders in Australia.
yeah,
I really do feel that. I feel like it sucks because you start to see obviously it'll be other players that are pulling out of their like international duties this year. Like because like if you think about it, if the journalists glorified what people did for Australia, for New Zealand, all that a little bit more, these guys would be like gearing up just to play for Australia and say, no, I'm going to be playing, I'm pledging, like this is going to be my year. Where you're more so seeing like I really do think we're going to see a lot of restings again, which I felt like pulled away a little bit from the Pacific Championship last year.
Yep.
Like your Kiwi squad could have been so much better with JMK and all that in it, which would have been so good to see. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think that it probably would be a majority New South Wales, and also Mitch Barnett looking at he might get a shot.
That would be great.
He'd be incredible. But what I love about that is when we're starting to see more of those Aussie, not say like this, but like more of those options for those jerseys there, Ruben Cotters of the world, stuff like that. I would love to see now a time where Tino and stuff like that go, I want to play for Samoa. I want to see that. I just want to see that. Like, I'm an Aussie boy and all that, but my Mrs. Samoan, half Samoan. I'd just love to see that Samoa squad just be as heavy as possible.
Yeah, bro.
And just to see go out there and have this big, like, competitive matches and see who actually takes it out. Because there's a lot of skill on every, New Zealand's got an incredible squad with no injuries. That's just my thoughts anyway. Yeah. Like, I think that just helps everything like that with Mitch Barnett's getting to the level that he is and Ruben Cotters. Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a Blues squad majority.
I mean, like, honestly, I wouldn't, even if it was Moses and Dearden, like, you never underestimate Kangaroos. Like, if you dare underestimate them, it will backfire. I've seen it too many times. But, I think that's where we're kind of at this stage. I think what it tells you with all the resting, it's just too many games, and that we don't fit in there. Yeah, but in Four Nations, I think there's some benefit to that, Josh. They kind of bombed it. Like Four Nations was building, but I think it's time to we need to look at. We'll cover that anyway when we get closer to it.
We will for sure.
No, thank you, my friend. Thanks for a great year. I really appreciate the content and effort you guys have put in. Next year will be bigger and better. Hey, man, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, man, and your Dragons. Not the greatest. Better than us.
They'll be there though. They'll be there though.
No, Flanagan. Yeah. No, they are. No, and I appreciate.
Wait for the peptide stories. Actually, that's another thing we could bring up. Did you see Did you see that the Dragons are going to get fined for the situation on Ronald Volkman too?
Yes,
I know Ronald Volkman got brought up
earlier
on in the chat, but apparently the Dragons getting slapped with a 10 grand fine or 40 grand fine. It was one of those numbers. I know that's two big different numbers, but it was something like that. And obviously it just saw that, I think we sorted out our end of the bargain. They just didn't push their end of the bargain there, Sue. So, but shout out to Ronnie. There is a couple of clubs that are chasing him at the moment, and hopefully he gets a really good spot at one of them. Yeah,
he's a good player, Ron. He's a really good player. And I hope his surgery and stuff and whatever has sorted itself out. The way that it worked was really foul, I felt. And mismanaged and all of that. So it sucks that that's happened for Ron, but wishing him all the best.
100%.
But yeah, man, hey, it's still exciting to the Pacific Champs. I think my thing around it is like, we need to prioritize it. It would have to be, you'd have to drop the season a game or two to kind of incentivize. Look, and the natural thing too is you have to increase the payments. Like these guys are probably playing for free. They're in that state of like, why would I put my body on for no cost when my team's paying for my thing? So there's a lot to be done, but it's still exciting. Like these are still fun games. Like I just can't wait to see the Tongan crowd, man. I can't wait to see them in full voice. Like we just don't get to see that. During a rugby league season. So those are the things that you really, those are the little things that you're looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I'll be at that game, bro. That first game, Australia versus Tonga.
Yeah.
Me and Brody are going to be going. I'm really excited to go watch that and hopefully, show some mean support. But that's the biggest thing, bro. Like, as I kind of said before, when people talk about Nate's career and like say about like where, he hasn't stood up on, it always goes back to Origin. And I kind of wish it just switched over to be like, well, look at what Nate's done for Australia and that carries weight, like I hope that he finds more, a lot more of like, obviously he doesn't, but hopefully in the future it becomes more of a pride thing and be like, well, this is what he's done for Origin, but this is what he done for international too, and that becomes a thing. Like Jerome Hughes, that's a big thing for me.
This is my argument too, like for the Kiwi side of it. So yeah, I feel it's really important that if you're going to get into the NRL Hall of Fame, if you're a Kiwis player, you have to have just as good a Kiwis representative form. So when Benji got in for the NRL Hall of Fame, I think that 2010 Four Nations is part of that as well. And that's why even for me, like I know people probably hate this, but I didn't rate JWH as an actual international player. I thought he used the Kiwis as a place to, work off his suspensions, and that's we'll talk about that. We need to break down. Internationals is not a place for you to work off an NRL suspension. It should be separate.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll get there. But yeah, so for us, the guys that should be called legends, they have to do it in the Kiwis jersey. Now, if you're only playing 2 games a year, you might, like Ruben Wiki and even Cam Smith, the highest they got to was 15. But that's because they had 4 or 5 games a year. If you're playing 2 games a year, the future's going to be 20 tests max. And that's even if you're available free. It might be 10, 15 tests, which is just ridiculous. For a Kiwis player, if he's going to get in the NRL Hall of Fame, he has to have shown it on the Kiwis level. That's why I give Benji his credit. I'll give Sean his credit. 2014 Four Nations.
Golden Boot winner.
Hughes, if he gets to their level, he'll have the Pacific Champs. Hopefully a World Cup. But that's partly why I put down guys like JWH. He didn't reach that same level on the Kiwis. He didn't represent it to the level he did at club level. So that's my expectations of Kiwi players that are called legends. They have to do it in Kiwi jersey too. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on like Adam Blair's and stuff like that in the Kiwis jersey? Like they're the names I sort of think of where they kind of were like the big ones where they stood out when it came to that big moment.
No, Blairy won 08. Yeah, he won 08 World Cup. He's been part of the. He was always available. Like my gripe with JWH was he was never available, and when he did play, the best example was 22 World Cup against Ireland. First tackle, head high, sent off. Didn't play the rest of the tournament. So, it's just we wasted a spot pretty much. Yeah, that's my view anyway.
I agree, bro. I agree 100%. I can't wait to talk more international footy with you, bro. Like, and hopefully it becomes a bit put on a bigger stage, because I think, the best way we can grow in New Zealand as well and all that. Like, I know State of Origin is such a big thing, and for Aussies it's a massive thing too, but we got to also have an international game, and that's where we're going to grow the game into a bigger standard to where everyone can look at and be like, I want to play on that stage, where at the moment, to play on the big stage, you have to be an Australian resident from 13 or that, unless you're a Queenslander, which is pretty much everywhere in the world, baby. Queensland.
I love it. Okay, let's do this. This is the last Warriors content we can do. Should we even do this? Is it going to probably take a while? I might just leave it, but maybe we'll do it at the start of the year.
But what do you reckon, bro? So it's just talking about the depth that we got?
Yeah. So I wanted to go through each position and do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each who can like play that role. So for example, fullback, then like who is your first, second, third, fourth option?
I reckon we could cruise through that. Okay. I reckon we can cruise through that.
Let's set it up anyway.
If we can't set it up quick enough, we might jump off, but I think...
Yeah, there we go. Okay, sweet. So we'll start with fullback. Excuse guys, this isn't the greatest package of, you know what I mean? This is directly it's directly from Docs. So yeah, let's go fullback. Who's your 1, 2, 3, 4 in that position?
All right. So my number one, as in like, yeah, so our depth chart, my number one would be Chance. I'd go CNK number one.
Yep.
My number two would be Tane Chuapiki.
Yep.
For sure.
Let's go
My number three would be most likely RTS if we had to come down to it. So it kind of shows our depth there at the moment. And then my number four would be a tight one. I would probably say that would look at Setu, or yeah, I'd say. Trying to think of who else I could play there.
Well,
That would
DWZ did well.
DWZ, yeah, it'd be DWZ. Yep.
That's actually not a bad fullback roster if you really think about it, like depth wise. Fullback should be a spot. I think we should do well, and if we can keep all four of those guys. Dell did a great job that Dolphins game. He's a good hard returner of the ball, like. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'd pretty much stick with that. We'll go. What do we got? Right wing. Yep.
So would number one be Dal for sure.
Yep.
DWZ, baby. Number two. So this is a curious one. I think if it came down to it, I'd go RTS.
RTS, yep.
I think we had an injury to Dal. Would move around RTS around those positions there too. Number three, I would probably say we'd probably move one of our centers out there before anything. So Adam Bombay.
Okay, yep. Oh, sorry. AP, I'll go AP, yep.
And then number four, I would probably say they'd push. I'm going to chuck Setu 2 there for now.
Yep. I
think Setu 2's got the ability to play first grade. So that would be my four.
Yeah, cool. So I'm just putting a page break here because I'm going to go down below as well. Okay.
Yep.
That's a good little group. Okay, let's do left wing.
Yep.
Now, we'll go with Montoya. Well, nothing technically has been sorted with Montoya. Do you still have?
Are we going off of what our thoughts are or what we're predicting?
Yeah. What we feel. This is all what you want and what you'd like to happen.
I would probably say that RTS would probably be the first crack at that left wing spot now.
Okay. Yep.
And then I would probably go Monty, depending on whatever the situation is going on there.
So I'll go MM. Sorry, everyone. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, this is where I'm trying to think. I think we'd end up again going Bumpy to cover.
Pomps is a good cover guy. He's played. Remember, he played wing. When did he play wing? He played, 2022, 2021 era. He's played a lot of wing. Actually, I've got a mate of mine. He's actually rates Pompey as a better winger than a center. Like that was his personal rating.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that Pompey was actually quite a good winger. So, yep.
And then, I would probably look at Ed Gossie. There is probably the option the club's going to go with. Whether I agree with that, probably not 100%. I would try to look at a Basi Kala or a Setu 2 in that. But I'm just going off of, I think that's going to be the hierarchy before that. And with Basi Kala, guys, we got to remember Basi Kala started at SG Ball this year. And then jumped up to New South Wales Cup. He's still got development. I don't think he'll find first grade unless there's a major injury crisis at the Warriors again this year.
He might find himself, again, injuries will all determine the pieces and how it's moving. But I think that's fair.
I do think Ali Leotar and Barry would become more of a wing option before Basi Kala. I really do.
Yeah, and the chat's saying that as well.
Yeah.
Leotoa, do you see Leotoa as a wing option?
I would prefer him more so as a center, but if we came down to it, yeah, I would put him there.
Okay.
Just because he's tasted first grade. He looks good in contact. The only thing is I worry about when we push our centers out to that position is more of that the under the high ball sort of thing. And I think that's where we started to dip a bit. That's where Bumpy's game starts to dip a little bit maybe. He's usually pretty fair under the high ball, but those finishing moments too. So that's
Yep. Okay, now right center. Barry, would you have Barry at top, obviously?
100%. Barry is my preferred right at the moment.
Yep.
And then if there was injury to him, I would probably look at pushing
Pompey. Would you go Pompey there or RTS first?
This one's tough. I think that I would probably go Pompey there. I think that Webby might have looked at this year and maybe gone, we moved around RTS too much, and there's been a lot of news around that. I think that whatever RTS sticks out, I think there's going to be a little bit more of that this year, unless it's a fullback position that gets up the grabs.
Yep.
I'd go Ali Leotoa, because I think Ali can cover on both sides if needed to.
Yep.
And then I'll probably look at ending at RTS. I don't think we'll be bringing up any other young centers from memory. I think MGT will probably end up going.
MGT will probably end up going. I think we were right about that. I was only thinking if they let it go of MGT, then RTS is probably in the mix somewhere, as a backup depth kind of guy, probably behind those three for sure. He might be might be the fourth option on maybe all of this. We'll have to wait and see.
We might actually we might put MGT where RTS is in that right center role then.
Just for now.
Just for now.
Yeah.
Until he moves.
Until it's technically moved on. Yeah. Okay, left center. You're gonna go Leotoa?
Yep, Leotoa is my number one there now. Number two would be Adam Pompey. I think Pompey were there for sure.
Yep.
Number three. This I know I just said that I don't think we'll be moving RTS around, but I think he'd probably end up becoming the third option.
RTD, what's that? I keep running RTD. RTD's a release day in Aussie, eh? Was it for your work? Yeah, I remember when I used to work.
RTD.
Yeah.
Registered day off, baby.
Yeah, you registered day off. Yeah. I miss those times in Aussie.
Good times.
And then your last option would be maybe who's that? Who would you fit in there? What, MGT? If he's around.
Yeah, MGT would probably be the option.
Or Montoya might be if he's around. I don't know. But yeah.
Even Rocco can switch on that side, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll run with that depth chart.
Okay, we'll just stick that and let's just recap that. Because first one, if you look at it, RTS, he will we've got him as a left wing, but he does fill gaps in other parts, so he might play a similar role to what he was this year, but at least he'll start first on the wing instead of starting in the centers, is what we've which we saw of him this year. But yeah, the fullback stock is actually all pretty good in my opinion. Can you see any other patterns that maybe like AP, like Pompey's in there? Pompey's like he's in four positions at different variations of depth. Like there's just
he's our cover. He's going
to be a cover guy. He's going to come in and out. He's definitely going to play next year. And Leotoa is getting a little bit of action as well. Setu2's kind of he's still in that mix a little bit. But
you could probably throw like Setu could probably bounce between a couple of positions there, and even at fullback. Like I've seen Setu play fullback.
Yep.
He's not too bad there. Like he's got great tackle breaking ability. Probably not the best playmaker in that sort of sense, but I've seen him play those positions and do well there. So he could be the added options for also center. I've seen him play center before, but again, I prefer him on the wing.
Yep. Okay, we'll go now into the halves. 5/8, and then they'll go HBs. Okay, 5/8. Now I'm of the mindset that I'm gonna go with Luke as the kind of director, as the lead half. So I'll probably have me personally. I have TMM as that kind of foil.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
I would.
Or you still have Metcalf as a 5/8, and then TMM as your starting half. How does that fit for you?
You'd probably see Metcalf with the 6, but with probably a little bit more added duties than what he's had before.
Okay.
I would probably still say that Metcalf in the 5'8" and Tomato Martin in the halfback jersey. But as I said, like, those roles could differ, like, the way they play their game plans, right? Like we've seen teams that, have been bouncing around with that, like Luke Keary, Sam Walker, they sort of trying to level the load there, Munster and Jerome Hughes. Like there's a lot of options that like guys take a lot of the ball when they get into that position. I think Metcalf will probably just take an uptick in what he has with the ball with Tomato Martin at number 7.
Yeah, and I think, well, from what we've seen, Luke's the best 5'8" we've got.
Yeah,
irrespective of who, if you want Tamati in the halfback, or if any halfback came in, Luke would be a good foil at this current stage in his career, but with added, obviously, with added roles and responsibilities. Okay, then your second guy after that, would that be, who would that be?
I would say CHT.
CHT.
Yep.
Okay. Then if you had to do the third guy after that, would you go?
Tamati.
Because Tamati would use him in the halves, but you could probably. Oh no, actually say Tamati. Yeah, stay Tamati in the halves range.
In the halves, yeah.
And then someone keeps getting injured on the 5'8" role. So who would be the next after that?
I reckon because he's tasted it already, I think that Webby would be more likely to chuck Chance in that number 6 jersey.
Wow.
And then play Tamati Tuapiki at fullback. So, and when we say that too, that could be vice versa as well. We could possibly see a little bit of Tane Tuapiki at 5'8" too in the future too. So whether you put him as that 4th option. Other players we have there too, obviously Luke Hanson's, Jesse Sorich, he played flag, but he'll probably be playing a lot of first grade. We won't see Jet Cleary this year. So yeah, that's Ben Farr's leaving from what all I've heard. So that would be the depth what we got.
I'll just leave it there for now. We'll just stick with 4, but you guys can kind of see that you're activating Luke Hanson, maybe the 5th option.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool. Let's go with halves. Tim Mim at the top.
Tomato, baby.
And then it would probably be Luke, wouldn't it? Say if
I would say so. If Tomato went down injury, I reckon Luke goes number 7 and CHT would go 6.
Up, yep. And then you go.
I would possibly swing. They would go Luke Hanson with the amount of work they've put into him, or even Paulie Roach. It's.
I go Hanson first. Paulie hasn't really impressed me, but maybe
neither.
But Paulie would. You maybe have to put. Or would CHT technically sit above
CHT? Yep, go CHT at 7. Hanson? Yep.
And would Hanson even bump out a Tane Tuopiki in that role, or would Tane bump out a Hanson in a half?
I would say Tane would bump out Hanson. Hanson's okay at the moment. He's still developing. He's had some nice moments in cup, but he's also had some up and down moments. So I'd say in first grade, that would probably be the way it looks. I agree with that. Also, another good comment, T Mackie, you've been killing it on your comments tonight as well, bro. No, you're right, bro. But him having Walker in that 6 jersey sort of race as well.
Yeah,
I think Walker will find a way there. So
I think Walker kind of fits in the just after CNK kind of.
Especially with Aaron Clark coming to the club.
Yeah, I agree actually. Walks is just that kind of glue guy. This is really bad injuries.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't prefer Walker having an 6, but I think that if it came down to injuries,
he's more of an in-game swap guy. Say if you get an injury to Luke Metcalf or whatever, he's
agreed.
He's the first guy in there.
Agreed.
Okay, let's go to props. So we'll do one prop for each line.
Yep.
So JFH, obviously, we'll start with him. Top dog. Actually, we'll do both of our props at the same time, so that we know who's the matchups will be. So, your first prop and second prop.
Barnett and Fisher Harris. So Fisher would be my number 1. Barnett would be number 2.
Yep, MB there. Okay, now we're going to the next guy underneath.
Yep.
Who would that be?
It's
a tough one, eh? Because you got those the Matrix and that kind of nipping at the heels, but then you got the Tom Harleys who had technically the more experience. Bunty
I
hasn't
think,
technically left, but we know he's on the outer because he kind of got shifted out.
yeah,
So,
I would say would probably go Tom Ale.
yeah.
Aaron Clark would have to be around about there, even though Aaron Clark will come up in our lock discussion as well. And I think Sifakula and Near Corday has got to have their names up in that somewhere, because I think Near Corday would be pushed more into a middle again. So whether he goes above Ale, I'm not sure.
And New Quarter, yeah. Barata. Amen. Okay.
And then whether we classify Tohu as maybe becoming a prop forward if, like, you know, Aaron Clark comes in there as well. So Tohu would probably have an option.
Yep. Who's it? Forward? Would you go forward as a last resort this year?
Yeah, I'd say Jackson will probably be played as a bench middle forward, but yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at.
Okay.
Then again, like, I could see him having a good offseason and played on the edge again, but yeah, that one, I'm so confused of where we're going to go with Jacko. And I think this year he's probably been the one that I'm just like, I'm up in the air. I don't know where he's going to sit in our lineup, and I don't know if he's going to be staying at our club either.
Was it early release?
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't heard any rumors on that, but just looking at the way the years panned out and that, yeah. I'm not sure.
What's the whole point of this? We're not too sure, Mons. But we're just guessing. What I suppose me and Ash are doing, we're trying to guess who the depth would be for if it was an injury. So, and see how far down the chain you'd go, in terms of each injury you have and who that would activate. Because we saw that this year. Webby moved Jackson forward to fill in that prop when we had injuries, or so. But we're just trying to, on how we feel at least, what we would like that to look like. So forward, we think is more of a last ditch. What's it called? Yeah, he's a last resort in our view. Does that help? Okay, that's cool. Yep, no problem. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. I think. I don't think we missed anyone.
Fish and Barnett are big two. And then everything under that is just guys that are filling there. Like, I could think that Sifakula is going to have a really good off season and probably jump a lot of these guys there. I would have Sifakula above Ale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think by what we've seen right now, he's still young. Like, we'll just have to see there. Zion Ma'u is definitely got to have a shot here too. So whether we put him.
Oh, Zion, yeah. He might be in the rung below or just.
See. After Zion's year in Cup coming back from first grade, I'm not too sure how long it will be till we see him around about the traps again. Like, I think he's good. I think he's amazing. Like, I think he's a good prospect for the future, but now we got Aaron Clark and all that there too. So
yeah. Aaron will play that. Aaron will play more of a middle role. He'll play, for me, I think he'll play more of like Jazz's type minutes, but he'll be there as a lock option if, say, Tohu goes down, walks. He'll help walks out a bit, I'd say.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay.
So I'd probably say that's where it is. So I think, I think Zion just needs to get fitness back under him, and we should see him there. But yeah, he's end of the year in Cup wasn't to be desired, in my opinion.
Yep. Sorry guys, I know I'm missing the comments, but we do see them, and Ash will pull out any ones that I missed just because I'm focusing on this on this screen here. Let's do hooker. Obviously we got Egan at the top.
Yep.
Now we just had this discussion.
Yeah.
We're gonna go Lussick to.
I still think Lussick. Yep.
Yep. FL. And then I think we had this kid Sam Healy, right? Above Roach.
Yeah. For me.
Roach is the odd
I saw a lot of great things about Roach, bro. I think I like Roach.
I do too. I like Roach. Yeah.
I would probably go Roach and then Healy, just so, like, obviously Healy's got to prove himself. Like, he's obviously the best hooker in New South Wales. Like, there's a lot of promising signs there, but we'll see it next year. He'll jump up our depth chart. So Either way, I think those are the two that are going to be fighting for first, dibs after Freddie. And who knows, they might even jump Freddie next year. But I think Freddie in preseason, his fitness training, I think he'll continue to win spots for our club.
Yeah, and like you might find that Healy might bump after preseason. Healy might be above Paulie Roach in the pecking order. Like a good example for me was how Lussick beat out who was our old hooker? They went to the Dolphins that year.
Um,
the chat will know.
Bro, I actually had really high hopes.
Yeah, no, I did too. They'll know. Someone in the chat.
Missing.
I missed the name.
I think he's playing for Toowoomba.
Otukolo.
From memory.
Otukolo. No, is it Otukolo?
Yeah, that's him. No. Yeah, Otukolo.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Yep.
But Lussick beat him out. I know, and his attitude was like poor, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Otukolo.
I think it was Otukolo or something.
Bro, he's playing for. I'm pretty sure he's playing for Toowoomba at the moment.
He's a good little nippy half. Taniele Otukolo. Yeah, thanks, Josh. But Freddie beat him out in that preseason. That's what I'm saying. Healy might bump himself up above a Paulie Roach. You like preseason effort is really important. Like even Zion, he can win a spot. You know, Sifa, if he has a mean, you can win spots in preseason, or at least in Webby's eyes, like show that you're dead serious about, being a top guy.
Yeah, and it's amazing that this is probably the best thing about doing this now is this is our predictions before all that, and then we're going to see how different it is when we come into the season, when we see all the news out of preseason, maybe we see the trials and see, all right, so this is the guy that won the spot, and we'll go our depth chart back again.
Yeah,
so I like that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that is at. Let's go to what are we doing now? Back row. So left edge, and then the right edge, and then we'll go lock. Okay, man. Who you got on your left edge?
Kurt Capewell will be starting left edge for me next year.
Curdy Capes. Yep.
Shout out to Capes. Had a good end of the season. I think he's deserved to win that spot.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say so too.
Then under him, I would probably say that Jackson Ford will probably get the second chance of that jersey.
JF. Yep.
Then under that, I reckon that Jacob Laban will end up. Oh, actually, I reckon we'd probably see Mitch Barnett more so, first of all.
Now, you told me about Halasima. Is he a left edge player or is he a right?
I prefer him on the right.
Oh, you prefer him on the right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably. So who have you got? You got Jackson Ford. Sorry, who was after that?
I'll go Mitch Barnett.
MB. Yep.
And I'll go Laban.
JL. Okay, guys, just try and when you're reading the acronyms, I know we don't usually write them like that, but you'll figure it out. Okay, then we've got right edge.
If it was me, bro, my smoky, I'd have Lecker there to start.
No, I actually agree with you because I think he's more of the Nanai type hole punching runner. Like Murata's a unders guy. You drop him underneath. He's not really. He's a good line runner, but I think if Lecker's ready, he might be just maybe a year off. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think
he
he's
needs
been
time.
promised. Well, he's in top 30 now, but he's been promised an NRL squad role by 26, wasn't it? 25, 26, I think, from what I've heard. But anyway, I think he's definitely a top 30 player now, and I reckon he'll be pushing for that role. So I would love to see Lek Alasima get that starting jersey. I know, I'm big on holding our juniors until they're ready and going, but I think he's the one for me that I'm like, I could see him now, and I think he'll do wonders.
We'll put him there because I think that's a genuine option. I don't think Murata is a long-term option there. From what I've seen this year and his total tenure at the Warriors, I think he will probably be moving into either coming off the bench and filling in that role. Whereas I see Maleka could really take that role on moving forward. Because I know it's kind of hard to, it's not apples and apples and every player is different, but when did Nanai start his debut? Was it around the same age, like maybe 19?
He was 18. Yeah, 18.
I mean, he's amazing talent. I'm not trying to put him on that level for Leka and put that pressure on him, but He's been in the system now 2 years. It might be time for him. Then again, his body might break down mid-season, but that's fine too. Like,
Yep.
I just think his development, where his talent level's at, he needs an opportunity to,
I
again,
reckon he'll be pushing, bro. I really do. And I think that the player you'd put under him, which could take the starting jersey next year for it, is Narata Niokore. I think that with a preseason under him, if we give it to him and be like, you're going to be this at the moment, I think he'd be our second option there. Then I would look at Mitch Barnett. I think Mitch Barnett's going to be the guy that floats between prop and edge back role, like we kind of did this year.
Catewell would fit in there too, wouldn't he?
He
very
would.
far, very deep.
Well, I don't see maybe switching him back again. I don't see him switching him to the right again. I think that would put Jacko forward as that last option there.
Last option. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yep. Okay, so there we go. That's about right, I think. That's about right. I can't think of any other back rows that we're missing out on.
If I'm being too hasty on and Halasima, two guys, like we're right near Corda at number 1, Lek Halasima at number 2.
Yeah, he'll definitely
even see Mitch Barnett as number 2. I think they're going to be around that top 3 range, and I think that out of all the rookies, he's my one. Him and Sivakula are the 2 that I'm like, they'll get it, other than Ali too, so there'll be 3, but they're my 3 that are like starting. Laban, I think, still needs a little bit of time. I really do.
Yeah. Laban's a kind of a... Laban, his progress is a bit going to be of a longer grind, whereas Lecker's like, like I said, when you jump off the TV screen like that, it makes you realize the talent he has. Okay, let's go.
The biggest difference, bro, on like all that, like just to reiterate my point, Laban is such a physical talent, and he does a lot of good things, but there's still a lot of little things he needs to work on. But the biggest key thing I have with Laban at the moment is definitely the fighting edge that Lecker has. Lecker has that aggression and that go to the game, where Laban, like I've seen in Carp, if everything doesn't go the way kind of he wants to, you kind of don't see a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Where Lecker, he wants to get his hands on the ball and he's just going to power over people like we saw in his debut. So that's why, you saw him in his debut and you're like, he blew off the page, right? He kind of was like, oh my God. Where we saw Laban debut, he was good, like really good, like solid to be around there and still contending in that. But did he have that like punch? Did he have that like, my God, he's teasing the moment? And I know that's probably tough, but I just think it's a mentality thing that Lecker, Sifakula have that I would probably say they're more geared for first grade right now than Laban.
Yeah, I actually can't. I actually agree with that as well. Okay, let's go lock. Now, it's weird because, frick, Dylan Walker.
Number 1 could go either way, right?
Dylan Walker is such a good impact player that I pushed Toyu to actually start, and then I bring Dylan on. But then we did have that period this year where it kind of wasn't working. I can't remember. It might have been 2 or 3 games where Tohu was starting. And then we had the Cowboys game where Tohu came on and it was kind of more effective that way. And what's your read on it, man? What's your desire?
I think either way, bro, you can't really go wrong between the 2, right? Like, I think that the only way you could go wrong is if you play one for a lot longer minutes than the other, right? I think we want balance now. And with Tohu being more so to the end of his career, if he's going to start, I don't want to see him start and play like 60 straight flat out and then like get 30 or so of Walker. I want to see kind of more of a balance there. So we'll go Tohu at number 1. And then we'll go Walker off the benches that punch. Number 3 would definitely be Clark. Aaron Clark.
Yeah. Aaron would be that guy. That's where we kind of explained it was the difference between Jazz and Aaron was that Aaron can give you this lock cover. So fourth man would probably be Shivers. I'm trying to think.
The options that we can put in that position, I think that we could, like, I know I don't want to bounce Mitch Barnett around too much, but I really do think Mitch can play that 13 jersey. If we don't have that, Tom Arle has played that 13 jersey before. Sifakula is a big one for me. So go Mitch Barnett and Sifakula, actually. They're my 2.
Yeah. And again, by that stage, it's more of like a fill-in role. Like the further you get down, the less kind of actual ball playing, like in technical ball playing you get. Like Tohu and Dylan is like, when we've seen those two in their prime, the levels that they play at that line.
Yep.
And Aaron's pretty good as well in his way. But yeah, I think you're bang on there.
Yeah. I think CHT could play that 13 jersey as well, but if I'm looking at like a lock, like 80 minute, I wouldn't have CHT.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not as an 80-minute guy. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
If I could put in that 13 for a decent chunk and be like, yeah, he'll do a job.
I think Aaron actually takes that spot off CHT, in my opinion, as the ball playing lock. So for me, I think CHT will be either sitting in as a half or, as another depth type guy. I just don't see it.
Yep.
I can't see it. I know a lot of people wanted to bulk up in size and kind of have this vision of CHT as this ball playing lock. I just can't quite see it personally. Might be wrong, but yeah. That's where I'm at.
I agree, bro. And like, people that like, obviously everyone that's just seen Sufakula this year play prop, Sufakula came through the grade as a 13. He came through the grade as a lock. He's got really good soft hands that people haven't seen yet because they've just seen the up and down Sufakula. But if you go check his highlights, a lot of his junior highlights, a lot of even New South Wales Cup highlights back in the day before the injury, he had he has some very silky hands. So he can play that position out really, really well. And I do believe that when we had that option, when he first made his debut, he was getting played as more of a lock forward than he was a front rower. It's only happened after the injury. He's bulked up a bit that he's in that front row position rotation. So that's why I'd probably have him in that lock position there. I think he'd be incredible in that lock position and see what happens. I think he's incredible.
Okay, I'm gonna call this role 14 because it's more geared to a forward, so I think based on a starting 17, you'd probably have Dylan Walker at the top of this list.
Agreed.
Then it would be, for me, Aaron would be that next guy. You right with
agreed.
that?
Yep.
Now this is where it kind of gets into maybe CHT realms or different types of things. What would you have as your 14 option? I mean, there's Lussick. We've tried Lussick as a kind of hooker dual prop at times.
Yep.
Does he still fit in that rotation, in that type of thing, or do you go with the CHT as that kind of ball playing lock option that can play a bit of hooker?
I would go CHT mainly. Yeah, like you got a 6 jersey, you got a 9, you've got a lock, you've got a center, you've got a fullback, you've got someone that can cover anywhere. That 14 jersey, if you have CHT there, he can fill out that position if any injuries go down. So he would be my other option. And my next option for that, I would probably at the moment would go Freddie Lussick with the slash of Healy and just seeing what develops there.
Yeah, we'll put Healy. Those two are kind of in that range there.
Would there ever be a thought of Tane, if he doesn't get that starting fullback jersey, to find his way on the bench as a small bench rotation? I don't know. But there is also an option later on down the track for that as well, too, if there was a way to try and push Tane into a jersey.
Well, that's where that 17 position we might have to talk about. So I see the 14 as more of a forward utility role, and I see the 17 as like how Webby has used
outside
back cover. But that's where maybe you find CHT pushing himself up the ranks and have a bit more cover. Let's go. Now, this one is more of a bench prop. So say Dills is playing. Would you go Aaron as your bench prop, or is there?
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. He's our first bench prop. Let's do
the second. Let's do the actual. Would you have a bench prop as the other one, or is it a back row option?
No, I've got 2 middle forwards, and we even got enough players there that will cover both middle and edge, I do believe, even in that proposition.
Okay. So who would be your second bench prop?
Second bench prop will probably be either Sifakul or Ale. I
Okay.
think I'll sway towards Tom Ale at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. Okay.
I prefer Sif, but I think that's going to be the way that we run our bench.
SH. Tanya SH is Sam Healy.
Healy.
He's the young kid. Jasmine. Yeah, so Sam Healy, we just talked about him. Tan's the young new hooker. And look, he's kind of in the hooker range and depth, but he's also kind of fitting in as a 14, like a bench role. He might, yeah. Okay, so we've got those are the two starting props, bench props. I'd probably say Sifakula straight underneath, right?
Yep.
Underneath one of those two. Then who would it be after?
Murata near Kore would have to be around about there too.
Murata would be in there. Then you're talking, who's our bench? We've got our props system here.
You're looking at
Jackson Ford.
Zion
Mayu.
Yep.
Okay. I think we will leave it there.
You can go Laban.
Laban would be another one, yeah. And
if we're getting really deep into depths, we could start looking at what's the name that got brought up before in chat?
Is Zion with a Y or an I?
Y.
Y. Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kalani going would be our deep depth.
Yeah.
I love Tanner Smith, and I hope he can get to that position with a good preseason under him. But at the moment, I can't see Tanner there.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, frick, I do. Let's do a bench back row option. So say Baby goes with a bigger. So we'll go bench back row. Yep. Let's just do one row of that. So that would probably put. Halasima could be at the top, maybe.
Yep, Leka will be there.
Leka will be at the top there. Now who else?
Sifa, I reckon Sifa could play on the edge if he needed to. So Sifa, forward for sure.
I'd say they go forward just above Sifa there.
Yep.
Yep.
Would you go Murata near Corday over Sifa?
Yeah, probably at this stage in that role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kate Well, I mean, don't worry about Kate. Kate Well would probably be the one that will hold down the actual spot.
Starting spot.
Yeah,
agreed.
Starting spot. Whereas you can mix and match Murata depending on how it goes. Then the last option might be, who did we say? We had Sifa.
Sif. It could be Laban could be
Let's put Laban because...
We'll go Laban.
Yeah, Laban's probably more actually geared towards that.
To the edge, yeah. Agreed.
Okay, now the last part is a kind of a bench OB or bench halves, yeah.
Yeah, outside backs, yeah.
Who would be the main guy that you
CHT.
Yeah, CHT would be this guy. And that's actually interesting. You could actually get away with the Aaron Arles Lick and CHT bench. Yeah, that might actually work. Then it'll probably
Walker's got to be there too, so yeah, you could run with that.
Yeah. Well, I've extended. So it'll be Walker, Aaron, Ale, and if you go bench back row, it'll be Licker. But if you go bench back, it'll probably be CHT as our first option. Tane would be in that mix, I'd say, because he covers.
Yep, agreed. Tane. Or would you go Bompy over Tane, or do you think Tane to push him into a jersey would jump?
So how would that work? So Pompey would be. I think Pompey is definitely the next one under. He would be the next one under CHT as the best option.
Yep. And then we'd go, then we'll go Tane, then we'll go Paulie Roach.
Yeah, and that's where I rate Paulie because Paulie's playing a bit of half. I actually have Paulie in the mix for one of those types of roles as a 17 role. So, yeah, I think that's about right there.
And for me, when I'm looking at this, I would say, we'll leave it as what it is, but I would probably say that Sifakula would be fighting really hard over Ale. From what I've seen, I think that in a good preseason, Sifa could overtake Tom Ale for that bench prop position, that first other one, other than Aaron Clark. And then we could fill out our bench whether Ale finishes on the last roll of the bench. Like my predicted, you'd probably look at Walker, Aaron Clark, Sifa Kula, Tom Ale.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm not missing anyone there. Or CHT could fill in instead of Ale. It could be running that sort of way.
Yeah, there's a few options there. And we'll definitely have to watch it and track it.
Love you, Jazzy. Justice for Kalani going. I love Kalani, brother, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Kalani just far out. If he found himself playing rugby league at a younger age, he might have. I think he might have cracked it. It's kind of such an interesting journey for him that he's done it at such a later career. Okay, that wraps it up. We'll leave that there, guys. Screenshot that if you need to. But we'll come back and revisit it once the preseason's done. I'd say.
Yeah.
And really map it out and see what we've got by that point once we've seen all the new guys come in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just switch back over to Oh, sorry. I'm going with the intro.
We got an intro again.
My bad. I'm gonna put that at the bottom somehow. My apologies, guys. Starting the new episode. Okay, man, that wraps up far out the All You Can Eat Warriors segment. Pretty much that's as far as we're going, people. We know you guys are going for till next season talking Warriors, but I think we've kept. I've seen everyone else do like one season review, like a lot of Warriors content creators. Like we've done like 3 or 4. We've given you guys everything you could possibly want to think about for the next couple of months. So,
what more could you want? What more? We already hurt so much this season, guys. We hurt so much. It's been such a love it.
But anyway, man, this isn't the end of the road, but this is like kind of just us recapping us on our journey, you know, in terms of creators and where we've come. And anyone in the chat, chuck in your thoughts as well, and you know how you found the journey with us. You know, you've been a part of it as well. You know, all you guys. So
100%.
It's not just us. We've gotten to know you guys. We've gotten to get to know you. But I think for me, man, I'll just quickly talk about, you know, how we came together. I mean, for those who don't know, me and Ash, we kind of had conversations. I remember I hit you up to do an interview on the Old Wires Up podcast, and that was pretty cool. And then we kind of talked about, you know, about doing something together.
Yep.
And I think we kind of, like, you know, talked about, like, I wasn't too sure how it would look, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think in the off season, once I kind of saw like, oh, this streaming thing's probably what I would like to do. And then we were both on the same page. It was like, let's do it, eh? You know, and it's just been an awesome journey to do with you, bro. Like couldn't have had anyone else, man.
It's been cool, bro.
To work with, bro. Honestly, it's been a breeze. Shooting ideas, like, look, guys, all the fancy stuff you're seeing now, the overlays, and that's not me, man. That is not. I'm a basic guy. I'll chuck on a screen. You see my off
your
the top
thumbnal game is gang, bro. Your thumbnail
I've had to because I got to compete with you. But you know, you guys see my off the top stuff. I shoot my stuff in the car. If I need to get an idea, but I think Ash is just, you know, look at the quality of our streams, man. Like and the quality of content, bro. For your personal self, like I've seen you grow so much. As a creator, like for me, you know, working with you, I just seen how, like, I listen back to some of our episodes. I'm like, because I'm sometimes doing the chat and stuff. Man, Ash is killing it. This view that he's got is no, I'm dead serious. I'm like, oh frick, I can't believe I missed that. Like, there's so many layers. For anyone, I'd say, you know, when you rewatch this, have a listen to what Ash is saying, and when you listen to it, it's like, oh, I missed that part, and I think that's very valuable, man. But you know, for you as a creator, it was great to see you on Sammy's channel. The stuff you're doing with Brody is amazing. Like, you know, you're covering all areas of the game, and like, you know, we've had our little chats, and we're gonna take it up another notch as well for next
100%.
year, man. So yeah, man. How's it been for you, bro? How have you enjoyed
bro.
it? Yep.
Amazing, bro. Like, and I think the biggest thing, like, that you pointed out of all that, it was learning, right? Like, just doing this game. Like, the reason why I started doing this is just to have an added skill and something that I can do. And like, I can, you know, every person that like knows me personally knows that I'm like just a massive sport head, and I always just like I'll talk someone's head off about like any sort of like sporting situation, whether it's soccer, footy, and all that. But footy's always been like my first love, and my Warriors, right? So I'll talk anyone's head off about the Warriors, really. So, but like, yeah, you're 100% right. Like, you hit me up for that interview ages ago. I've been watching your content for ages, right? Like, I just love that. I loved all that gameplay breakdown that you did, and it was really cool when you slowed it down and stuff, and you were pointing out certain things, and it was really cool because I get to sort of see everything in slow motion that I never used to do back in the day. I used to just watch out the full game a couple of times over and see what I'm trying to looking at. But when you slow everything down and you're saying certain things, I even were picking things up on your certain stuff. So I hit you up, and like I think it's more of also the vibe, right? Like I like to see like you're a person that like comes across so well, you talk so well, you really articulate. You're one of the most articulate Warriors content creators on the space. So I thought that would work really, really well with someone like me that I talk really quick. I try to get my points out there, and I'm still trying to like working myself out there because I got a B grade, sort of not even a B grade, a C grade sort of schooling there with Caboolture High, baby. Shout out to Caboolture, Brayton Trindle, rep. Let's go. Yeah, but honestly, bro, it's helped me grow in that area so much. Like I get to look back at all our streams. I learn certain things, the way I need to talk, the way I need to portray myself and portray my points. And so like, I don't go around in circles like I usually do. And it's all learning, and you've helped me with that every step of the way. And like legit again and again, like all the feedback, all the work that you put in the back, like the background, as I said, with this channel has got such the ability to become something special in rugby league in general. Certainly very similar to AFTV in that, and you're the Don Robbie of that, right? Like you're the guy that's gonna be the one, bro. Honestly, like you've created something awesome here. So that I always thank you for you to put you on. Give me the space and time, and to allow me to grow on the channel too. And rising tides lift all ships, and that's the biggest thing. And next year is going to be incredible. Like, shout out to all our members out there too. Shout out to all our subscribers. Like, next year, I hope that we bring you all the content that you want. So your memberships are all fulfilled, right? Like $5.99 a month. Hopefully we bring out everything and you guys are happy with the content we're bringing using that. But bro, I honestly, same thing as you said, I couldn't see it doing it with anyone else really. Like I really couldn't. And I've said that to you from the start. Like, we messaged on the back and I was like, out of everyone, I think I could do a really cool show with you. And we did it. And this is what we've done and like how far we've gotten to. And yeah, first of all, is your vibe, is the way you do it. But it's also, I think, it's cool that I have a mate over in New Zealand that I talk about Warriors with on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and
man,
even Saturday, Sunday.
Honestly, man, if I could live on the dole, I'll just live in. I'll just be streaming 24/7 football, man. I'd love it.
100%, bro. 100%. We'll get there one day.
And Mantis, yeah, we will be, man. We'll be popping in and out. Like I said, this is. I'm just closing off. We can't keep talking about this season. We've maxed out, but we'll like when the off season comes around, we will actually get into a bit more like looking to the future. But we're gonna do Pacific Champions, so if you're into that, hang around. I know it's not for everyone, but we'll be doing stuff. We're doing the watch along this Friday, so we come hang out and with us. People are enjoying that as well. But thank you, man, and shout out to Pretty. Yeah, cheers, Ash. Leaving Wise up fun. I'll catch you all next season. To watch our team win. Yeah, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Hopefully a positive year next year, right? Don't you dare.
Man.
Jose, pending court cases, brother.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. I love it.
You're the best.
I'll just talk about family, guys. This is a big one too, the impact on family. And I'll probably share mine, and I'll get you to share Ash. But for me, my wife is, oh mate, she's had to put up with, we stream almost every night. Monday, Tuesday. You do Wednesdays as well, and then we have our watch alongs and other content. Like the women we have in our lives is crazy to, especially my wife has been able to support me massively in the background behind the scenes. A lot of the reason why we started at 8, I'd love to start earlier, but my daughter as well, she goes to bed. And so, as you do with any family, you make sure that your family's first, and then you find time. But just my wife's been a massive support for the show. She's actually been one that's also behind the scenes, like talked like, hey, do this, do that. Hey, you stuff that up. Hey,
Yeah, she's amazing.
And so I really, really appreciate her. And you can't not take for all of us. I'm sure same for Tans and her family, other creators. Your family have to support you, and for you able to be even relaxed, to do a stream, to really focus in, all your surroundings have to be good so that you can really give as much as you can to everyone watching. I just want to shout out my wife. It's been absolutely huge. It's been great 100%. That we've been able to monetize, because she can see the fruits of what we're doing. It's not just so that's a definite benefit as well, to show that, hey babe, I'm working hard at this and it's showing some rewards. So I shout everyone out that supports us, because it helps me to continue to want to do this. So but I'll chuck it to you, bro. Family, your wife, your family, how has the journey been impacted your own personal life, I suppose?
Yeah, massive, bro, massive. Like, I know that when people see us here for like an hour and 30 or an hour, 2 hours, like they don't see the amount of work probably in the background. It's not just turning on a camera and turning on your computer and you go live. Like, me and Levon, like we about half an hour to an hour before the streams or whatever, we, jump on, we set up our setups, we make sure we got like our topics and all that and run it all down. And, that all takes time away from, some of our loved ones and all that out there. And, both very lucky and privileged to have, the women in our life, like, my wife, Gika, like, at times I try to find the balance, as I said, I'm not the easiest person to live with, where I'm watching, all different types of sports 24/7. My TV is playing like anything sport. So, if there's no rugby league, there's AFL. If there's no AFL, there's, NFL, NBA, everything. But she's learned to live on an iPad. So I appreciate her for that. No, but it's like, it is a big commitment. And it is a lot of things that like people probably see it from the outside, think it's like, it's not that hard, but it does. And the more that you end up doing it, the more you end up finding you put more work onto yourself as well. And the more this actually, even when you think that when this becomes a full-time thing, it actually will become like a full-time job anyway. You will be working for 8 hours a day to actually hold up the content of what we actually do. And that impacts the family that you have around us. So again, very, very lucky to have a wife that understands, she's doing her own business on the side and we try to balance everything out together. Like we've had a massive year this year, and, you guys have been a massive help for the family as well when we went through, all the, personal issues and stuff like that when we're trying to grow a family. And, hopefully one day you will get there, you know what I mean? And like, coming on here, it's like a therapy session. Like I don't have to talk about it, but just talking to other people, makes it feel better, right? Like, and I just got to shout out my wife. Like she just allows me to have this time with you guys every night. And she just never blinks an eye. Like she never complains. She never does anything like that. She's like, go do it, bub, do it. And yeah, just a most amazing thing. And I know the exact same thing with Levon's missus as well, because like when Levon's like, bro, I got this idea. My wife said this and this and this. I was like, yeah, you got, it's the strongest men, bro, have honestly the strongest women behind them. It's the only reason why we become as strong as we are, because we got a team, right? Like, it's you and her, it's me and my wife. Like that's how we work, and that's how we get to where we are now. So we've got to appreciate those guys in our family, and family always comes first, guys, no matter what.
Yeah, man. Just quickly, shout out to Josh. I cannot forget Josh.
Shout out, Josh.
We kind of didn't wrap things up. Josh has been pretty busy. It's been hard sometimes to find time, but man, Josh has been huge as well.
100%
to the content and what we were trying to do on that show. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to miss Josh. That'd be repulsive of me, and everyone that's been involved as well. But yeah, Josh has been huge. His insights and his way of looking at it,
amazing,
different, and it gives us, it lightens everything up. It puts everything in perspective when you're a Warriors fan. But I just want to, the last topic I'll probably go on, man, is like plans for the future, and look for me, guys. I don't know if you noticed me, but over probably the last 6 months, I've probably put on about 6 or 7 kilos. I haven't. I try to hide it with the big hoodies, but my health has been really, really bad, and it's on my own fault. Just being lazy and lackadaisical. But the time I suppose we put into like thinking about this, like
Yep.
sometimes you have to just sit on the couch and really, okay, what am I going to say tonight? But I think the balance of that. Thanks. The balance of that is like, bro, you got to take care of your body, and
Yeah.
I've honestly felt I haven't had the best health this year, so I'm definitely going to prioritize that. Moving into the next season, like, guys, maybe hold me to account, but I want to come in looking like as thin as ash, right?
I'm getting thick these days too,
I'm
bro.
looking like Sean Johnson there in the background, you know what I mean?
Shawnee J, baby.
But I really, because I think that will add to the quality of the streams as well. Like when a person's in good health, good physical health, that's when they give good quality content too. So
Agreed.
for us to be able to do what we do next year and to keep up the pace and do what we're doing, for me personally, my goal is obviously do our content really well. I want to improve in probably the analysis stuff, making sure members get the best out of us as well. But for me, it's going to be prioritizing my health, man. Like I need to get myself physically fit, so that when I come on these streams, all my mental focus is fully committed. I'm listening, giving ideas, all that type of stuff. So, and appreciate everyone in the chat too.
Agreed.
And like I love hearing your guys' journey as well. Good hearing about Jose looking potentially at finding a different career path. Those are the types of talks I enjoy talking with you guys about that as well. So yeah, thanks for everyone. But I'm gonna put my effort into, especially this kind of, now we're going into the off season. I'm definitely going to put my effort into my health, man, and making sure that I'm ready for a big year. Not just for this, guys, we love this, but it's got to be for our families, man. We have to be as husbands and that type of thing.
100%.
For our families, bro. So, yeah, but for yourself, man, personal goals or challenges or anything that you're working on?
Agreed. Jose, what's your top 4 health goals? You're a beast. You're a beast.
Top 4s with Jose. We've got to do that every week next year. I just can't beat it, man.
As it be our members Monday.
Yeah,
top 4s.
And then next week, and then running it straight on Tuesday. Jose's messaging top 4 health problems.
We'll just do a clip every week of top 4s, and it's just Jose's top 4s. I love that idea.
That was awesome.
Bro, my personal goals next year, I got to jump on that same sort of train, bro. I definitely got to kick my ass into gear soon. Get working on myself a little bit. My health, my health as well, for sure. I'm similar to you, bro. Like, before I do everything, when I come home from work, I sit on that couch, bro, or I'll go home, I'll lay in my bed and I'll just try and relax and all that. But I also, want to pick up the errands around the house a little bit more to help my wife. While before I do everything like that.
Sorry, I just see
well,
don't say that's ridiculous, you guys. You guys need to go in the off season, man. You guys are getting more feral the more you come on these streams.
You guys are beast. But that's the thing, bro, is when you're 100% right. When you start focusing on all areas, you end up like opening your mind too. Like, the more like you come back to this, you go, oh shit, like this is something you think about. Like, the more you schedule things, the more you end up finding time for things as well. And that's what I've learned, from back in the day. But I'd love to either, hopefully get back to jiu-jitsu or some MMA and that and see what happens there. Or even just, sign up to a gym and hopefully get swole, getting massive. That'll be cool. No, the jokes. But legit, bro. Yeah, I want to take this to a new level though. Like, I think that we're going to really put a lot of time into, just YouTube in general. Like, I want to grow my channel a little bit more, but also grow Wires Up TV again to be the forefront of like a lot of people's when they want to think about Warriors. You got obviously all your big podcasts around, like Levels Podcast, Bloke in a Bar. There's all these other podcasts, but they see a broader scheme of every team in a competition. But there's no better like place to come see an actual Warriors view than an actual Warriors channel. And I hope that we become the forefront of that, next year. So we're thinking of multiple different shows that we're going to bring to you guys next year. So hopefully that will be the whole thing. And that's my big goal is, improving that area, improving myself. and then see what comes from it. Maybe who knows? Maybe I'll move to New Zealand. Maybe something will come to that. I don't know.
Hey man, you're welcome here, man. Anytime. Yeah, man, it's been good chat, and like me and Ash are gonna do content for the next month or two, so we'll keep talking about this stuff as we go. But at least we close off this chapter for everyone that's been on the journey with us this year. And actually, if I can get everyone, we're probably, I think, 4 subscribers away from 1,500, which would be a massive feat. We're not far off, maybe 4 or 5 subscribers off. So if you are a casual in the chat, you kind of just started watching the stream, please quickly just give us a subscribe and get us to 1,500. They'll have a nice feeling to close off this chapter, at least.
That'll be huge.
Yeah, it's great to hear everyone. All the different thoughts in here. Bro, you guys do a show together in the flesh for 20. Yeah, we are. We're working on that. We'll probably be doing definitely one. I'll either find my way over to Aussie or Ash will find his way over here. So
I plan to come over to New Zealand and watch a game of New Zealand Warriors at a home stadium.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do next year. So, Levon knows that. My wife, we're going to be working towards that next year. And, hopefully get to see Fisher Harris come over and, lift our standards there. That's going to, I'm excited for that.
UFC show, that's what Jose's saying. Yeah, man. If that's, I'm not.
Hey, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I'm not really into the UFC. I don't know much about it, but I'm sure Ash could do something like that.
Yeah. If you would watch Jose, feel free. I'll jump. I'll do that.
Have you guys reached out to Warriors to interview coaches? This is somewhere I would like to expand Team Mackie, and even I invite Ash to as well. But I felt, at least for this year, at least, like just keeping it in-house, me and Ash, to build it, it's been quite full on. But then again, like I said, if we want to expand it, we'd love to do these types of interviews and expand the content. And that's what I'm saying. I think we will do that next year. As we get more, as we build the base of what we're doing. But yeah, I wouldn't put that. I'd love to do that. That's both of our dreams. We'd love to interview Sean, right? We'd love to interview the guys, that we respect and admire.
Yeah, and shout out to Tomato Martin if he still knows who we are. We'll do an interview with you.
Yeah, killer the sponsor, man. This guy is.
Bro, beast.
No, we love Killer. We've actually, and it's not even, for me, it's not even, we know Killer's a very kind man, very generous man, but he's
sure.
Just like the rest of you guys, we enjoy hearing the comments and thoughts, and Killer's one that I've really appreciated, and like everyone else, Jazz Day, Jose, all the regulars, man. Imantis, Ash, you going wild stuff on here now, Ash Thomas channel, or for everything else? Yeah, let's just quickly talk about that, because Ash, I'll leave that to you in terms of
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So yeah, basically, majority of my Warrior stuff will be on this channel. I'll still do my TikToks every so often, just wherever I feel about it. But majority of my Warriors content will be on this channel. We might have the one-off ones where Levon's brought up maybe as in let's say the Josh Curran situation where he put up his view, and we didn't want to oversaturate the channels too much. And then I'll have the ability to go on my channel and say something like that about that if you want to see that, or we'll end up going on All You Can Eat Warriors and stuff and say our points there. But majority of my Warriors content will stay on Wise Up TV, and I love it that way too. So it opens up my ability to do other stuff on my channel. So as Jose was saying, maybe a UFC show, maybe I can start doing that again. And I've done that a couple of times where I've talked about fights and that, but maybe now, because I've got a little bit more of an audience, I can start doing that. And also the big key one me and Levon have been talking about, Down Unders will probably move over to Ash Thomas TV starting this week, guys. So tomorrow night, come over to Ash Thomas YouTube. The link will be in the description or whatever. Levon always puts my link to my channel because he's an absolute beast, and it supports me to the ends. Come over, come say hello. Me and Brody may even evolve the show to start talking about UFC or something like that. We want to start looking at growing a little bit more of my channel, and rising tides, lift all ships with Wise Up TV. And that also opens up another spot for Wise Up TV as well, that me and Levon could look at doing maybe a tactics show, maybe doing talking about our juniors and that, and really focus on Warriors stuff on Wise Up TV. And my channel will be a little bit more of everything, really. So anything, everything. But yeah.
Yeah, I just want to quickly jump in on this as well, guys. What we're wanting to do, and I suppose is like rising tides. We want to grow Ash's channel as well, and like that's why, guys, please put that in your bookmarks now. Thank you, Tay. Go over there and subscribe there right now or follow. I'll send out a post as well to remind you guys to go and watch the stream, because the regulars that are on here, you guys come in and watch it here on Wise Up TV. I want you to go now over to Ash Thomas and go and watch the show and support the show over there. Because we want both channels to be up to a level, and then that gives, I want to just have Ash have the freedom of like doing both, and even for example doing the videos. I've always said to Ash, chuck them on my channel, chuck them on yours, chuck them on both. Like let's maximize as many views of the same thing as we can. So it's like it's not like we're getting rid of that show or anything, but we just want to maximize both channels. And so if you haven't already, please go over to Ash Thomas. I'll send out a post as well tomorrow night, guys, reminding you to go over, because the regulars, they might have left, the Tarnsers and that, you do like to watch the show. Make sure you go over and support that tomorrow night. But we might do we're going to mix it up a bit, see how the numbers go. We want to probably do, if the Pacific Champ stuff's hitting, we'll probably do some lives over there. So
for sure.
We're trying to get Ash's numbers up in terms of watch hours and that type of stuff, so that we can progress the channel. And I've said, let's do that. You know what I mean? So,
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited for the future. And like, as I said before, it just opens up everything for this channel. I've just seen, obviously we can start talking about NRLW next year as well. We could do NRLW Wednesdays, like certain things like that is ideas that can open up there. And having down unders on the channel has been amazing and been incredible, and you guys have got to see Brody, and you got to meet new people and that. But it'd be cool to have it on my channel as well, and we could grow in different areas. And also Wise Up TV, we can talk about Warriors, because I know you guys, as we saw tonight, we could talk about Warriors for another freaking 2 to 3 hours, but if we stretch it out over a couple of days of the week, whatever, you guys are going to start, you'll get a lot more Warriors content and that sort of general too. So that's sort of our view set on it. It'll be basically Ash Thomas presented by Wise Up TV, basically, so everything works together, guys. Me and Levon, it's pretty much like it's joint partnership no matter what channel we are on. So that's just the way we work.
Like I said, guys, we might do some live streams over on his channel. I'll let you guys know about that so that you can come and watch it there. We don't want you to miss either channel, so we'll make sure that the comms get out. Hey, we're doing the watch along on Ash Thomas tonight. We're doing the whatever. So good point, Tahi. That's sorry, Jazz. We recommend interviewing the ex-players. I agree. I'd love to interview some of the ex-players. I think that's probably the guys that have gone on. Appreciate that advice, actually, Jazz. That's a good one to know for us, actually, to build context through that way. So let's do that as well. The other one we wanted to do, guys, is kind of like that's a great point. Rugby League Guru, love to get him on.
Would love to talk to him.
The other one would be the analysis show. We probably want to get back into that. That's how I kind of got into the space. Was doing analysis. Probably need to go back into it. So we'll look into that. The other one was I wanted to do more of interviews at the games, kind of present, like, go as a reporter type vibe, by AFTV for those that know, interviewing people after the games. And those are some of the options we have as well. So
that'll be gangster.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's up, man. I think we kind of got there in the end.
Beautiful. Big future, bro. Big future.
We might have done like 100 streams, man. I'm sure we've done like something ridiculous. But it's been awesome, man. Yeah, big future. It's not over yet, but I do want to close off talking about the Warriors.
The comment, bro.
I've done like 6 months of, I don't know how many total hours it would be, but I love this club, but I do need to have a break from it. I've got to go to the gym, guys, so I'll have a break. We'll do our watch along, but, grand final probably as well, and then we'll get into internationals, man. But any last words, Ash, before we finish up?
Love you guys, love the community. Up the wires as always, and hopefully, Keep an eye out. Wise Up TV. Again, we're not leaving anywhere. We're still going to be doing Pacific Championship and all that. It's not a goodbye. It's we are growing. We just need a little bit of time away from Warriors stuff, but we will be talking about a lot of country stuff very shortly. So get ready for another news cycle of Warriors very, very shortly around the corner.
Yeah, the exorcism is over, guys. We've had our karakia, koutou, haumie, huie, taiki. Have a good one, guys. We'll catch you soon. Come pop in on Down Unders tomorrow night. I'll put out a post. Don't forget that. Pop over.
Bang.
And then watch along on Friday. Come watch us, Roosters, Storm v Roosters.
Storm v Roosters.
Okay, that's enough. Go away. See ya. Up the
See ya.
Waz. Peace.